welcome back to another episode of the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, and it is a pleasure to welcome back onto the show. It's been a few years, but it's a pleasure to welcome back onto the show former NFL linebacker. Last time we chatted with this guy, he was playing very valuable reps for the San Diego Chargers. Since then, he had a sip of tea with the Denver Broncos, and now he is a retired from the game of football, doing great things nowadays. He's Reggie Walker. Reggie, how's everything going, man?
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's been amazing. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, hey, the pleasure is all mine. And Reggie, I want to start this interview off by talking about your playing career. And you of course, started out at Kansas State, undrafted free agent, and here comes the Arizona Cardinals. They come calling you following the NFL draft back in 2009. I guess we'll start off, since we are the NFL Draft Bible. We cover the NFL draft year-round. Kind of talk about your draft experience and what that draft weekend was like for you, and how calming it was when it was all said and done and you were an Arizona Cardinal.
Okay. My draft experience was awesome. I didn't get drafted, which honestly turned out to be a big blessing in disguise. Honestly, if you would have even seen me that day, you would have thought that I went first round after I got picked up by the Cardinals. But what happened was, day the draft comes, I'm pretty sure that, there's a chance I could go in the later rounds, but, there's no telling what's going to happen. I get a call from Arizona around the fourth round, fifth round, saying that they were thinking about picking me up in the seventh. Because they said they had a couple picks and they were thinking about using one of them on me. So I was pretty excited about that. It gets to the seventh round. And I think they ended up, I forgot who they picked, first, whether it was Lerod or, Trevor Canfield, but they ended up picking one of them, and then they called me afterwards and said, we want to bring you in as a free agent. And then that's kind of when I started getting a couple calls from, other teams, I think. I talked to Arizona. I talked to New England, Houston. I ended up talking to Pittsburgh, I think, the next day. Who were the other ones? Yeah, and there was like two other ones. But, they ended up saying, we wanted to bring you in. We wanted to bring you in as an undrafted free agent. How do you feel about that? And, I was just like, I don't know, let me think. And my agent basically told me, out of those teams, out of the 4 or 5 teams, you need to pick which one. And you only had a small frame of time to pick. And luckily, I watched a lot of football, and I knew what situation to pick to go into, because I understood from college that there is a political aspect to football. And for me to put my best foot forward in the NFL, I needed to pick the best situation possible. And that's why I chose Arizona.
And, a lot of times, just about every team, they hold undrafted rookie free agents, and there are those that make the team their first year. That was the case for you as well, Reggie. You made the active roster your very first year on a pretty talented defense that, included one of my all-time favorite safeties in Adrian Wilson. You had his running mate as well, Kerry Rhodes. On the defensive line, Calais Campbell, Darnell Dockett. You were able to crack that 53-man roster. How were you able to do it, and what was it like to play on that type of a defense that had so much potential?
How I cracked it was, honestly, my situation in college prepared me for the NFL so amazingly. It it's crazy because my situation in college wasn't one of the best, but it helped me to understand like a couple things that you really need going into the NFL. You need to understand how to learn quickly. You got to learn quickly. You have to limit your mistakes because every single mistake could be your last. And really kind of understanding the business aspect of things. And when I got to the league, I was prepared. When it came to the playbook, I knew exactly how to pick up a playbook quickly. I knew exactly what to do right off top. I think even in camp, I might have made 5 MEs, which is mental errors, like doing the wrong play or screwing it up. I probably had 5 all camp. I did not make a mistake. I made very few mistakes. Also, too, a big thing that helped me was a guy ended up pulling his hamstring, and when he pulled his hamstring, I got to get more reps. And when I got more reps, I really took on that opportunity. I mean, I really seized that opportunity because I also understood too from Kansas State that you're going to get few opportunities, and it's one of those things where it's best way of putting it is how like the NFL as well as college football is kind of like what have you done? It's a what have you done for me lately business. And I understood that no matter how well I did one day, if I come out there and crap a brick the next day, it doesn't matter. You have to be consistently well. If you're not consistent, it doesn't matter. So I was already in that mind state going into it. So I made very few mistakes. When I got the opportunity, I seized it. But another thing also that I did was I understood that when it comes to making decisions, the coaches are all going to be in one room. They're going to sit there and talk about every guy on the team. And I understood that, hey, I need to make sure these people know who I am. So I went out and talked to the head coach, talked to my coach, talked to all the people on defense, went and tried to talk to the people on offense, the coaches. So everyone knew who I was. Everyone was very well aware of who I was. Because, because you need people fighting for you when the doors close. You need that. But even playing on that team, it was awesome because it was the year after they went to the Super Bowl. And, you had guys like Carlos Dansby in there, Gerald Hayes, Clark Higgins, Chike Okorafor, if I'm saying that right. Sorry, Chike. And then you had Antero Roll and Adrian Wilson playing safeties, and you had DRC playing corner. It was one of the most – and Calais and Dockett too. But it was one of the craziest situations ever. I remember when I first walked in there, the first 2 people I see Larry Fitzgerald, and then I remember sitting there thinking like, whoa, he's bigger than me. Like, oh my God. But then I was sitting there thinking like, that's Larry Fitzgerald. Whoa. Oh my God. I called my mom. I went to the bathroom, called my mom. And then the next person I saw was Darnell Dockett. And I remember thinking like, this is one of the scariest people I've ever seen in my life. This guy looks so scary. Just tattoos everywhere. He's a big, intimidating presence. And that was the second guy I saw. And if my memory serves me right, I remember looking at him, and he kind of gave me a look like, don't ever look at me. Don't you ever look at me. Who are you looking at? And I remember looking away like a scared little boy.
Did you go back and call your mom after that one too?
No. Too prideful.
Well, sticking with your rookie year, Reggie, one of the most memorable playoff games, the Arizona Cardinals and the Green Bay Packers, 51-45 in overtime in the wild card round of the playoffs that year. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the highest. I know at the time it was the highest scored playoff game in NFL history. I'm pretty sure that still holds to the day. Being a linebacker and being on the sideline watching or even being on the field, Reggie. I mean, watching not only your guys' offense have so much success that game, but Green Bay's offense as well. I mean, how tough was that, being a part of the defensive side of the ball and then getting ready for New Orleans the following week? How much, what was that week of practice like leading up to the New Orleans divisional round of the playoffs game?
After the Packers game, and on defense as well as one of the biggest sayings that goes everyone says in the league is when bad stuff happens is like, hey, they get paid too. And when we played the Packers that year, they were stacked. And you're playing Aaron Rodgers, he was absolutely killing it that year. And we knew that there's probably a big chance they're going to score a touchdown. But our thing was, let's just try and keep it to a minimum, keep things to a minimum. But after the game, emotions are still high, but we understood that, as a defense, that we could have played better than that. We could have done things better than that. And then you're getting ready for Drew Brees, and we knew that, like, dude, if we kind of do some of the same things we were doing, it's going to be a long game for us. But going against New Orleans, it was just such a crazy team to prepare for, because you're preparing. He's going to do his work. Some guys are just like that. It doesn't matter what you throw at them; they're going to get their stats. Like, it's going to happen. He's going to throw for 300. It's going to happen. But then they had Reggie Bush at the time, and we were doing a lot of work on Reggie Bush, and we were also doing a lot of work on just kind of like our pressure packages. But when it came to the game, though, Reggie Bush was Reggie Bush at USC. He had one of the best games I've ever seen from someone, for sure. I think he had a punt return touchdown. He had a screen to the house. I think he might even had a run to the house. But it was usually after games like that, because it happens more often than people think. Like, some people are gonna put points on you, and you can scream and yell and all that, but it was really more about just kind of like, let's just get back to playing Cardinal football, doing what we do best, and then just go from there, and then we'll be fine.
You spent your first 4 years with the Cardinals, and then after that you went on to hit free agency. You signed with the San Diego Chargers. Was that tough at all for you to move on? What was free agency like for you?
Honestly, it was something that when I look back at it, I was mentally preparing myself for, because in Arizona, I kept running into the situation where, it's not really a talent thing. It's more that this guy's getting paid this much money, so he's going to play. And, it didn't really have to do much with this, how well I did. It kind of really, it really angered me at times, but it really, it was just a really difficult situation to deal with. Just kind of being in a deal where it doesn't matter how well you perform, how well you do, that guy's going to play, no matter what. So when it got to that time, my fourth year, I think they hired Bruce Arians, and then when cut day came, they gave me a call. My agent gives me a call, and he says, hey, you can either take a pay cut and stay, you'll be here for sure, or you can take your chances going somewhere else. And I was just like, I was over this. I was so over it. And I was just like, I'll take my chances. And then luckily, I had Coach Ken Wisenhunt and Coach Spencer. They were with San Diego at the time, and they gave me a call, and I was a Charger before the weekend was over with.
You know what? You say that. I totally forgot that you were still on the roster, and that it wasn't a free agency, or it wasn't March signing by you.
Oh, yeah.
This was something done, like you said, come final cuts. And the Cardinals, they were stacked at linebacker as well. Darrell Washington, of course, was playing at a very high level. I believe they brought in Lorenzo Alexander, and of course he's still doing great things with the Buffalo Bills and so on and so forth. Well, your career with the then San Diego Chargers began, and your first year in San Diego, they drafted
Manti
Te'o, linebacker out of Notre Dame, second round. I gotta ask, what was the locker room like? Was there any, rookie hazing done towards Manti Te'o? I gotta get the scoop.
Man, that's crazy. A lot of people have asked that, and to be honest, it wasn't. Manti was a cool dude. It wasn't. No, I don't even think we really even talked about it. We didn't bring it up, and because it's a professional environment. Yes, we're playing football, but we're professionals. That stuff is his stuff. People are really good about just not poking and prodding into people's business. So yeah, he was a good guy. He was a great guy. Manti was a good dude.
What kind of leader was Phillip Rivers? This is a guy, he's coming from a legendary draft class with guys like Eli Manning and Big Ben Roethlisberger and all that. And, Phillip Rivers, again, a future Hall of Famer, hasn't gotten the job done yet in the Super Bowl or even made it to the Super Bowl like Eli or like Big Ben. But, he's always, it seems like he's always given his team a chance to win.
I'm so glad you asked that question because I love talking about Phillip. Because of the fact that he was one of my all-time favorite people to play with. When I was in Arizona, I heard all the, he outside of that facility. Outside of that facility, he has such a bad rap. People think that he's a whiner, he's a baby, he cries and all that. And even when I played for Arizona, you see stuff on TV and you're like, oh, he's just a crybaby dude. Like, that's just what he is. But when I got to San Diego, I could not respect one individual more than Phillip Rivers. Probably like Eric Weddle and Gates, and there's other guys that are on that too, but Phillip he's one of the smartest individuals you'll meet. Knows every single thing when it comes to ball. But the best part about Phillip is, as a defensive guy, he gets you so pumped because he's not like a usual quarterback. All that stuff that people write about him and say about him is such a lie because you can't hear what he's actually saying on the field. He's one of the toughest dudes. He's one of the most competitive individuals I've ever seen. And, I remember we played, I can't even remember who we played, but he lined up, he was on the line of scrimmage, and he said, hey, 22, I'm throwing right at you. He's like, you're trash. I saw you on film. You're going to be in for a long day. I'm throwing right at you. And he threw it right at him. He threw it right at him 10, 15 times. And then we'll go over there and talk trash right in his face. He's like, you're never going to get a chance to hit me. You never going to get a chance. He's like, you can't even cover this guy. How you going to hit me? I was like, whoa. And you're seeing this on the sideline. It gets you so pumped. That's why I like, even this is completely off topic, but that's why I like Baker Mayfield. Because Phillip would, not saying that, Phillip is with some of the crazier antics that Baker Mayfield has done, but he's the same type of, he's a lot of the same type of guy. Like, oh yeah, I'm competitive. Like, oh, you're going to hit me? Come hit me. You want this? Come get it. And as a defensive guy, you're used to the quarterback that's just like, oh, I had a great GPA in college and, oh, I do all this nice stuff with all these nice people and, yeah, I always speak really proper and I never say a bad word and all the other stuff. Like, man, you don't want to see that on defense. You don't want to see that. And because of that, guys really respect Oh, people really respect him. Yeah, it was such a great experience to be around that guy.
Now I got to bring you back a little bit. Do you really not remember who you guys were playing, or do you just not want to embarrass number 22?
It could have been 29. It could have been something. The biggest thing that I remember is him doing that at the line of scrimmage, and then you're just kind of seeing it, like, whoa, like, so how's this going to play out? And he threw it right at him. I can't remember who it was, but even if I did, I probably wouldn't say it, to be honest.
Well, sticking with the Chargers and fellow teammates, I got to get your thoughts on the recent news of future Hall of Famer Antonio Gates being released. He's a free agent. He is not retired. The team released him.
Yeah.
And I got to think a team hops, maybe after rookie minicamp, maybe at some time in training camp, a team is going to certainly snatch him up sometime soon. Your thoughts on that move and Antonio Gates not retiring as a Los Angeles Charger?
Oh, I think eventually they'll probably bring him back and have him retire as a Charger. I think that's just the right thing to do. Even if it's like signing a one-day contract and doing that, I think eventually he will retire as a Charger. But honestly, I think everyone kind of knows what it was. Like, he was getting a little older, and it was more of a business decision. And Hunter Henry he's been playing great ball. I think they just kind of wanted to open up for him. But, it's just one of those things, like, NFL is not for long, and for him to carve out the career he did, coming in as an undrafted free agent as well, and staying as long as he did, and putting up the numbers that he has, and he's just a great individual as well. It's just, I think it's a great thing. I don't think it's, a sad thing at all. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if someone does bring him in, even if he's just coming in and he's a rotational guy. He's still, because he can still run routes, he can still run. He's still Antonio Gates. He's gonna make some noise, and but yeah, I just think it was just a business decision completely.
All right, and
that happened.
I gotta ask you, throughout your career, Reggie, and obviously you being a guy that didn't hear his name called on draft day, was an undrafted free agent, can you tell us what teammate over the 6-7 that you were in the league came in as an undrafted free agent and impressed you the most? Is there a specific guy out there that kind of comes to mind?
Yeah. Before I say that though, it's, when it comes to a lot of these undrafted free agents, I understand that a lot of guys don't come in with the draft status, have the backing of being picked, but it's not a situation that people think as far as like, oh, these guys are just bums, it's just whatever. There's a lot of great players I've seen that were undrafted, and if they didn't make the team, it's not just talent that makes you make an NFL team. Like, you have to come into the right situation too. And then you gotta have it from, depth being on your side to the coaches being on your side to, there's a lot of things that you kind of need working for you. It's not, a lot of these guys get released and it's not that they're bad football players at all. But even with going with that, I was in Denver. There's a guy, his name is Zaire Anderson. And he actually took my number too after I got released. But holy smokes, this guy came out of Nebraska. I think he was like 217, like 5'10", like 217, playing inside linebacker in a 3-4, and he was knocking heads off. Oh my god! It was so good seeing that too, because I was like, man, he was doing exactly what I was doing when I got in the league. Like, he was like selling out, and he was making plays. I loved watching him play. Plus, I liked, he was in San Diego. I can't believe I just forgot his name. But he was a still there, too.
Oh, from Buffalo, right?
Yeah. I cannot believe I forgot his name. But when he came in on in San Diego, he came in one of the best running backs on that team. I don't care what anyone says. He was, and there was a lot of talented guys. It's not saying that these guys weren't talented. Brandon Oliver. It's not saying that these guys weren't talented. They were, but he was just amazing. He was this short, like, 5'8", 5'9", just a big ball of muscle. And I remember hitting that guy a couple of times. I was like, whoa, it's a load. But he came in and he worked his butt off and he grinded out. And it was just one of those things that you knew, I think after the first week, there's no way this guy's not making a team. Like, no way.
Well, after 2 years in San Diego, as you alluded to just a moment ago, you did sign with the Denver Broncos back in 2015, and then once you were released there, you called it a career. How did that decision come apart?
Honestly, my career really ended my last year in San Diego, maybe week 6 or 7. Because not to get, it was a crazy thing because I had worked so hard to get to this one point of like, I'm going to be a starter. I'm going to, make $1 million. I'm going to, have the defense actually be a part of the defense. Like, all of that. And then I actually got that in San Diego. And as crazy as it all was, I was probably the most miserable I've ever been in my life. I was miserable. It was crazy. I'm in San Diego. It's beautiful every day. I'm playing on this team that I like and, I'm getting everything I wanted, but I was miserable. And, the thing was that I got to my finish line. I got all the way to the end. Everything that I wanted to do in the league, I did it. And I got to the end, and then I kind of really sat with it and looked around. And I was like, man, like, I had just to get to that finish line. I never really considered myself, like who was going to show up at the end. And when I looked in the mirror, I was like, the guy who's kind of here is like, he's a wreck. I was a wreck mentally, emotionally, physically. I hadn't really taken care of myself how a normal person should. Like, not at all. And then at that point, the toll had kind of, everything had just taken such a big toll on me. And I think I really, really sat there and realized that I kind of was playing for the wrong reasons. I wasn't playing because, I want football glory, or I wasn't playing because I wanted to be the best linebacker of all time. I wasn't playing because I wanted a Super Bowl or wanted to go to Pro Bowl. No, it's more like I was playing just to prove to everybody who had doubted me and had said anything bad about me. I just wanted to prove all of them wrong. That was it. But then once I kind of got to the finish line and was like, man, I did all that for that? I can't believe I did all that for that. And then I really said, I was like, I don't even like football like this. Why am I still doing this? It was really like it was a really crazy moment in time. But it was one of those things that I'm glad that I really did figure that out, because there was a lot of emotional issues that I had a lot of stuff stemming from childhood that I just hadn't dealt with. And it kind of made me realize that, like, okay, I need to deal with this stuff now.
Well, I mean,
I can't put it off to the side anymore.
Not every athlete gets to kind of call it a career on their own terms. So I got to think, you're very happy that you had the opportunity to do that. And now, again, we're talking with former NFL linebacker Reggie Walker. He spent time with the Arizona Cardinals, the San Diego Chargers, and the Denver Broncos, coming out of Kansas State as an undrafted free agent. Are you aware that there's a Reggie Walker, a defensive end at Kansas State right now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh my gosh! Of all the schools, too, you had to pick. No,
Well,
no, he's actually a baller too.
Oh yeah, he's one of the top prospects in 2020, man, for sure. But Reggie, a couple more questions, then we'll let you go. It's been an awesome conversation, man. I got to get your thoughts as somebody that early on as an undrafted free agent, somebody even these rookies coming in as draft picks, whether they're even first round picks we're seeing nowadays. The special teams is a very crucial aspect to the game. It has been for years. It seems like over the years they've been making rules and trying to kind of get it out of the game, and now there's been conversation. Within the next few years we could see kickoffs totally eliminated from the game. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's funny how they talk about things like, oh, we're going to make the game safer by, taking away kickoffs. But do you watch, have you ever seen rugby before? You ever watch rugby?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you know how if very first time someone makes an illegal tackle, they're ejected, right?
Okay.
Very first time. If they had that in the NFL, you'd be seeing people form tackle all over the place. But people know why they turn into football, and people know why they even go into football. It's the violent aspect that people want to see. When it comes to eliminating kickoffs completely, I don't see a point in that. Plus it's already hard enough to make an NFL team. And then if you're going to be a backup, you need to be good on special teams. But now we're just going to take one whole unit off because of, the concussions and all that stuff. I understand the reasoning. I do get that. But it's still football, and you're going to have a lot of concussions in every single thing you're going to do, especially if people are practicing unsafe habits. If you correct the habits, you can correct the game. But since that's not the biggest thing, then, let's just do something like take away kickoff. And still people are going to get concussed. It's still going to happen because people are practicing unsafe habits. And that's the big thing. That's like the big thing. Like, guys not tackling, like leading with their helmet, leading with the top of their helmet. I did it. Everyone, you do it sometimes. It happens. But when people are doing that, immediate ejection. If you really are serious about making it safe, that's what you got to do. Immediate. So it's like, hey, I'm going to tackle this person the correct way. I'm not going to sit here and blindside them or any of that. I would say with the fines, it would be a good thing if there was some kind of standard, like, hey, if you do this, this is how much you're going to get paid for. I mean, this is how much you're going to get docked, which is for a lot of things, yeah, but then you have Goodell kind of just doing whatever he would want in some cases. And it's not really a good system. But hey, if you really legitimately want to make the game safe, it has to be immediate. Hey, you leave with your crown or your helmet, you're gone. You blindside somebody not paying attention, you're gone. And then guys really get the point, you'll see a whole safer game completely. I don't think taking away kickoffs is going to do that. That's just, to me, that's just dumb. To be blunt, it's just dumb. And they're screwing with people's lives too, with careers, because there's going to be a guy who's going to make a career out of just doing special teams. And you can make a really great career doing special teams. You're just going to completely take away one aspect that could help him stay on the team. I don't agree with that.
Hey, I'm from Chicago. I mean, Devin Hester tried the wide receiver route. He tried the cornerback route. Didn't have success at either of them, but he had an impact on the game just about every time he had the ball in his hand on on special teams, whether it's kickoff or punt return. Before we get you out of here, Reggie, your advice to the new rookie class coming in, what is something that maybe you know now that you didn't know heading into the NFL that you might find as critical advice, and what would you tell the, I guess, undrafted class of guys that are getting ready to start off their NFL career? How can they not only stick on an NFL roster, get on the 53-man roster year one, or even practice squad, I should say, but be able to stick for 6, 7 plus years like yourself?
Yeah. You are, one, you are not in the same situation as any of those guys that you kind of grew up watching. Even the guys that you see on the team that are the big money guys and they can do this and they can do that. You are not that dude. You cannot do any of that stuff. So don't even try. You're going to play a game that you will lose. When it comes to making mistakes, hey, you got to understand, you have to play twice as good as the guy in front of you. You have to. It doesn't matter, even if you're better than him. It does not matter. You have to play twice as good as him every single day. And also, you need to make sure these people know who you are. You're not drafted. They're unaware of you. I've seen guys, it's week 8 of the season, and a coach comes to me, who's that guy? When did he get here? I was like, he's been here for 2 years. And I'm sitting there thinking in the back of my mind, like, that's not good, because that guy's deciding whether or not he wants you on this team or not. When you can never, ever be complacent. It doesn't matter if you had a good day. It doesn't matter if you had a good week. It doesn't matter if you had a good camp. Like, you have to be great every day, every single day. And because when bad things are going to happen, they're not going to blame those guys, the top tier guys on the roster. They're coming for you. They're blaming you. When you see a team get released, you see a new coach come into a new team, people are like, all the top guys on the team are going to be gone. No, they're getting all of them. They're going to get most of you out of here. So you have to make sure that you're as valuable as possible. And with that, that means, hey, like with me, I played inside at Arizona, but I saw that on the scout team, there was guys that are getting really tired from outside. So I went and did that. I did a little bit in college. I was like, I can pass rush. And then what I did was I went to the offensive line after they blocked me, and I was just like, what could I have done differently? And then I just got good at pass rushing. So then eventually a guy got hurt on outside, and they put me in instead of signing somebody off the street. That was the first time that I even got on the field. And I was playing outside linebacker in the NFL in a 3-4, and I have not done that. I came to play an inside guy. It's like, and then even when I went to San Diego, that helped me out because they're like, man, Reggie can cover, he can pass rush, he can do all this. And, we have to have him. Like, if this guy gets hurt, we throw Reggie in. If this happens, just put Reggie in. You're valuable. You need to make yourself more valuable each and every single day you're in there. Whatever you can do. This is like, it's like a saying, amongst guys, the more you can do, the more you can do. Because you're going to feel, to be quite honest, that they're trying to get you out of there. And they probably are. But you can't give them a reason. You cannot give them a reason. So that is like, make yourself valuable, work twice as hard as the next guy, do not complain because you do not have the authority to say anything like that. And honestly, just trust in yourself. Because, football is a confidence game. And if you're not confident in you, then who else will? Who else will be?
Hey, well said. Before we go, let you go, Reggie. What are you doing nowadays? Now that you are retired from the game of football, preparing for this interview, I can't believe that it was back in 2014 when we last seen you on the football field.
Oh, yeah.
It really does not seem like it was that long ago. But I see you are back on Twitter. It's great to have you back on Twitter.
Yeah.
And in your bio, you have you're now a personal coach and a future analyst. And I'll tell you what, by our past discussions and our discussion tonight, a company will be very lucky to have you as an analyst. This will not be our final conversation, I'll tell you that right now, but give us a look as to what you're doing nowadays since you've hung up the cleats.
Okay, so once I got done, I knew, like I told you before, that I needed to kind of get myself together. Like, I had not taken care of myself in a way that I should have, and I know I needed to get help, so I ended up going to therapy, and then I ended up getting myself right in there. I ended up, I still needed a semester left, so I just finished that. I'm actually graduating Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So finished that. I wrote a book. It's actually going through the editing process, and I'm going to have some people look through it, but I wanted to make a manual for kids who are just aspiring to go through college athletics, especially football. Just help them understand the environment they're getting into, how to go about it the correct way. But the biggest thing where I wrote the book was I wanted to kind of help a lot of the kids out there that I knew were going into this situation succeed, because when I went through it, and I went through a really, really bad time in college. I love K-State. I love Kansas State. I love everything about it. I love those guys. But it was just, football-wise, dealing with some of the stuff there, it wasn't good. And I had to do a lot of it just completely on my own. And you're in a situation that is just, you're 17, 18 years old. You have to operate 2 full-time jobs effectively. And most people aren't really, have the tools necessary to do that. But you're 17 trying to figure this out. And then you're dealing with the politics of college ball. You're dealing with all the high pressure, the high stakes, all this attention. And you're in an environment that is just so easy to fail. And then you see so many people fail. I remember I had two buddies of mine end up going to get, institutionalized because of just some of the things that went on in this environment. It was bad. And even with myself, I remember I was super depressed at times. A lot of guys I was playing with were just so mentally just all over the place, because it's such a terrible thing to do, and you're dealing with it on your own. So I'm like, well, let me put a book together so if someone's going through this, I can just help kind of prepare them for that. And then even with my business, that's the same thing I'm doing. You want to go through it, I'll help prepare you for it so you can see during and after. Yeah. I'm also in the process of moving out of here, so. But yeah.
Well, hey, Reggie, we really do appreciate your time. Thank you very much for hopping on, man. It was a great conversation, some great stories told here, and really appreciate it. We're going to have to get you on again come this season. So, any final words before we end the show?
Just thanks for having me on, and I'd love to come back on again. It was an awesome time.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Take care.